Hey, welcome guys back to the channel of Musings&Review. I'm your host Maverick, and today we're going to be watching Astra Lost in Space Episode 3. So, last episode was okay, I guess. Definitely the story and the character archetypes were a little bit cliche and overdone, if you will, especially in this day and age. We've seen the same type of story and the same type of character millions of times already. Even for someone like me who's only started watching anime, actually really watching anime a lot fairly recently, well, there's no shortage of this kind of characters in all the different manga works, light novels, yada yada, right? So, but it's okay, it's just starting out. I'm assuming from now on we're going to be focusing on introducing the backstories of every single one of the characters, and maybe this will work hand in hand in solving the actual mystery of this series. It is sort of a mystery in a sense because they were thrown into space by some unknown force, and apparently there's somebody going around sabotaging their communication devices as well, right? So that's probably also part of the things that we will have to find clues and solve by understanding each of the different characters. So hopefully that's what's going to happen here, and we'll be getting some more adventure goodness. Because last episode, honestly, not just the story and the character itself, but the planet itself was fairly tame, right? We didn't really get in. I mean, sure, it was a pretty critical situation comparatively, but it wasn't really. It didn't really give that much of a sense of, oh shit, something bad is about to happen, right? So maybe they can sort of up the ante in this one. Alrighty, the opening is just the opening song, which is the ending from the first episode, so I'm just gonna skip that. There's nothing new there, and let's just start in 3, 2, 1, play. A meteor? Okay. Like, are they literally going to land on a meteor or something? Hmm? Oh, so he's like starting to have suspicions on every single person now. Wow. Oh. I only just noticed myself. And normally when you have different color eyes, they're like really far apart. Hers is more subtle. Like the perfect guy. That would be the perfect alibi. He? He? Really? You're the medic? Okay. Oh yeah, she is the daughter of a doctor, but still. And then the guy is the most suspicious, right? Yep. But just by, you know, just by just by metagaming it in a way, we can know that Ugar probably isn't the one. It's like too suspicious. Yeah, like he's way too too much with the lone wolf act. I don't think it's him. Yeah, just sleep on it. Day 24. Oh, they're on the second planet already. These guys. You guys really should be a bit more... Alright, it is a bunch of high school students. Okay, at least they're all kind of bonding and whatnot. That's nice. Okay. Why are we learning about her backstory now? Huh. This definitely isn't a straightforward mystery. I don't think this is the best time to say this. Really? But why? Yeah, I think there's no... I agree with him. オッケー。Okay. So is this like turning into a thriller instead? Okay. Yeah, like why? Well, girl, if I'm not sure if I agree with revealing this kind of information under this kind of situation. To cause some sort of incident to the school? No, not a suicide attack. If it was, it would be like a double cross. Ooh. Okay. That was some pretty nice timing. Back up. And there's no kind of warning system or what? Yeah. This dude. Okay. Alright. Really? Stay calm, dude. Wow, Arius, you are actually very... Yeah, that's actually a legit problem. $10 that's just gonna play some kind of pivotal role. I love how so far into the future they're still using this kind of cable. And enough power to power this kind of advanced system actually flows through that kind of cable. Unidentified. What? What? This is ridiculous. Alright, who's gonna be the savior here? Oh, he's gonna... Nice. Yay! These guys. Oh. Is it snowing or something? She's... And it's gonna show him actually having a gun. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is something that was already seen before. Yeah, it's just the ending, right? So, I'll see you guys in a second. Alrighty, so this series is turning out quite differently than what I expected. I thought that this was going to be a space adventure show. As it turns out, it seems to be more of a mystery thriller story as well. So let's talk about the dynamics of the situation that has changed since this episode, right? So first of all, Kanata decided to just lay bare the situation and tell all the others of this certain case of sabotage. Now, again, personally, I don't quite agree with this decision. There are some there is some positives to be said about being honest and upfront, but at the same time, they are in more or less of a survival situation, right? Is this really the time to be adding more confusion to the more confusion to the situation? Think about it. They're in life and death situations. They're fighting for their survival, and now you're throwing this kind of information into the mix and causing distrust between people. Like in this episode, we only see Kutori actually have any reaction towards this kind of news, right? But in reality, I feel like that's something that will be on the back of everybody's mind all the time, right? You'd always be asking yourself, can I really trust this person? Can I really trust this guy next to me, this girl next to me? What if that person really is a serial murderer and wants to kill us all, right? I don't know. I feel like a far better way to go about this was be to at least silently do some investigations by yourself, right? Because by all means, if you don't say it, probably the actual culprit wouldn't know that they were exposed as well. And so you could do your investigation secretly, privately, and gather some more information first instead of just laying it bare, causing confusion, causing distrust, and as well as alerting the perpetrator or the suspect, the would-be perpetrator or whatnot, that of their intentions, right? So I feel like a much better way to go about this would be to at least keep quiet for now. But then again, Kanata doesn't seem like the investigative type, if you will. So really, if he really kept this information himself, it might be possible that it goes nowhere, right? He doesn't seem to be the kind of person fit to do this kind of stuff. And like I said before, there are some benefits to being upfront and honest about it. Handled well, it could cause everybody to bond together even more, and also because people would know to keep an eye out for this kind of situations, it would also lower the overall probability that this perpetrator, this suspect, this killer, or maybe not, but anyways, the person who did this would need to think twice, or it would definitely increase that person's difficulty of sabotaging stuff a lot higher, right? That person wouldn't as easily be able to do this kind of thing. So there are pros and cons for each, and I'm interested to hear what you guys think about this as well. Personally, I still think I would go with the first option and at least keep it to myself and do some secret investigations myself, right? Keep an eye out for what might be happening, and allowing everybody to still work together as a team to ensure the safety and survival of everyone. But as it turns out, since that's just what ifs, right? In this episode, Kanata already told the situation. So what this has actually turned into is sort of like a mystery or detective series, if you will. Especially the kinds where a murder happens in a isolated place, and all the different characters are in close proximity to each other, and they can't receive outside help, right? This type of trope has been done in a lot of detective series. It's normally either, for instance, maybe up in the mountains, like in a cabin lodge or something. Maybe they were snowed in and then a murder happened. Or potentially it can also happen on a boat, something like that, out at sea. So not able to really get contact with other people, and you're entirely isolated to the occupants of the ship. Or trains are also a pretty popular medium of doing this kind of setting, right? In fact, there's a pretty famous novel called Murder on the Orient Express, which was also adapted into a movie a few years ago. So that also, handles this kind of situation, right? It's literally a murder on a train, and since, everybody's in close proximity to each other, it creates certain dynamics, if you will. So this is sort of turning into that, in a sense, which is, I don't know how I feel about it. On one hand, I do like solving mysteries. On the other, I was kind of expecting more of an adventure show. But I guess in the end, it cancels out, right? Even though I'm disappointed that this might not be so concentrated on the adventure aspects, at least I get to solve some mysteries, right? And watch some detective anime. So I guess it balances out in the end. In terms of what's actually happening, right? Again, I feel like this is way too early and there's not really much to speculate on. I will say, however, within this episode, we learn a lot more in regards to different characters, if you will. And specifically, Aries was the one who, probably gave me the most, how should I say it? The most change in my perception of her, right? Because, for 2 episodes in, or even in this episode, her normal behavior is that of a klutz, right? She's this ditzy girl who's positive and cheerful and whatnot, but she's a little, loose in the head and whatnot, right? But however, it is revealed here that she is actually an honors student. That is the reason why she was able to transfer to this school. That means that, at least academically, she is very smart, right? And indeed, you know, this actually also ties in with what she was saying last episode with her having a photogenic. I believe the term is photogenic. Having very good memory, right? I suddenly my mind is blanking on what that word is, but having a very good memory, right? So, you know, it makes sense that she's also good academically as well, although maybe not to that extent. That surprised me as well. And also, if you guys recall, throughout these episodes, it seems that Aries is the one who's actually keeping her cool, keeping calm, and then thinking of various different solutions. Like in this episode, she's the one who, when everybody else has given up, she simply thought, no, wait, we still have this kind of thing that we can try, right? So that definitely surprised me a little bit. And that's nice, right? She's not this sort of airhead character who's just bubbly and has a nice personality, but she's actually got some smarts as well. So that was nice. Also, since it wasn't explicitly mentioned in the last episode, I was also kind of surprised that Funi and Kujiri are literally sisters for like only 1 or 2 months at this point. I had thought that maybe Funi had been adopted into the family for at least a few years now, but as it turns out, she's literally been there for like 2 months, including the time spent together on this ship, right? So that was kind of interesting to me as well. And, you know, Ogre, well, his dad being the vice president, and apparently he's got some family issues and whatnot, well, we'll see, right? We'll get to his backstory, in some time, I'm guessing. And Yunhua as well, but at the same time, I feel like my instinct right now is to say that actually none of them are actively trying to, you know, kill everybody and kill themselves as well, because honestly that doesn't really make sense, that kind of angle. Like, if the entire reason was to for some reason kill some specific individuals within this group, or maybe even just they don't care who they kill, they just want to kill a certain amount of people, a certain amount of students, there would be no reason for a killer or one of the perpetrators to also personally come and stay with them on the camping trip on the planet, right? They're like, just put these kids on the planet and then open the ball and whatnot, and they'll be thrown out into space. Problem solved. There's no reason for another person to actually act as an observer or whatnot and be with them at all times, unless of course that ball thingy can only be activated by, you know, in person or whatnot. But otherwise, I feel like that angle doesn't really make sense. There's lots of ways to kill a bunch of people, a bunch of kids, without them knowing, without actually endangering your own life, right? So I don't quite buy that situation. I'm guessing that maybe the people who want them dead, if there are people that want them dead, and the person who sabotaged the communication device is probably two distinct people, or at least they have distinct motives, if you will. So yeah, I feel like that covers everything I want to talk about for this episode. Anything else? Yeah, I think that's it. As I said though, I still hope that they go a little bit more down the adventure road. Next episode, they just landed on this new planet, right? And apparently it has snow, so probably next episode they're going to be exploring this planet. And, you know, it's pretty fast-paced, right? A month has already passed within the anime, and they're already arriving at their second planet, and it's only episode 3 into the season out of a total of 24 episodes. So I feel like there's a lot in the mid-half portion, where I guess that's when the story really kicks in. Right now, we're still exploring the different characters and setting the stage, right? So, okay, still looking forward to what's going to happen next. And if it's a mystery, well, bring it on. Let's try to figure this out together and see if we can correctly guess the culprit before it is revealed. So, anyways, you've been watching Mavry from Musings with Mavry, and I'll see you guys next week, next time. Until then, bye-bye.